Hi there. Intuition 6 class is coming up. It's time to sign up. So the full title of Intuition 6 is Multidimensional Existence, UFOs, and ETs. And we focus on that, just as the title says, in an effort to expand consciousness into other dimensions that have different characteristics, different capacities of consciousness. In the class, we have specific goals. Every class has its own set of goals. So the goals for this class are to, number one, understand the various dimensions that we live and work in. Okay, we move in and out of the various dimensions, but a lot of people right now are just focused in 3D, but you can expand. And that's one of the goals of this class. Our second goal is to explore other dimensions and observe the people who live there. You can see into other dimensions. You can't always interact, and sometimes it's hard to hold, but you can expand into other dimensions and begin to see, hear, or feel what's going on there. Our third goal is to begin moving your consciousness toward a 4D or 5D system. Those are, they operate a little bit differently. They're still physical. You can still have one foot in 3D, but the commitments, let's make that plural, that you make in consciousness are different, okay? And the last goal, number 4, is to begin moving toward the end of time. So, and what I mean by that is not the end of the world or the end of you. The end of time has a totally different meaning. So each of the intuition classes has a theme as well as goals. And the theme for Intuition 6 is, I am comfortable, poised, and manage myself well in all dimensions of existence. Comfortable, poised, and manage myself well. That's a goal. That's a big goal. So some of the things that we cover in this class, the unfolding process of the human and the transformation process itself. You can get stuck along the way. How do you get unstuck? Then there's multidimensional existence, and what does that actually mean? So we talk about that. We also talk a lot about linear perception and linear thinking versus what I'll call other types of perception. And we're not introduced to those other types of perception, but they exist and they free you up tremendously. So linear perception and linear thinking versus other types of perception. And then we have the whole question of time and the end of time. That's always a big wow. Then we have timelines. How do you change your timeline? What do you have to do to make that change? That's an important one. Then we have the differences. There are differences. Some of them are fine. Some of them are big. They're not so subtle. I'll say fine and subtle versus big and obvious changes between third, fourth, and fifth dimensional consciousness. So we talk about those differences. And then we cover frequency zones and membranes. What are frequency zones? And what happens when you move from one to another? Then next we cover ETs, UFOs, and their systems. And I don't know everything about UFOs and ETs, but I know a little bit from my own personal experience, and I'll share those. And there are always people who have they have their own experiences, and sometimes they will share. So there's that, ETs, UFOs. Then there's we address your capacity to create. You are learning to be a creator, to use the incredible power of consciousness to create. What's that about? And then the last thing we talk about is, are we living in a simulation? So that's a question that's come up recently. So we address that. Other things that happen in this class are things like I always try to read to the students something of relevance. And in this class, we read from The Nature of the Psyche by Jane Roberts. The Sept, she channeled Sept, if you're familiar with that. If you're not, it's an eye-opener. We always have some interesting exercises that help expand your use of consciousness, that really show you how to do what the class is teaching you, how to use that information in your everyday. Otherwise, what good is it? So I don't want to say too much about the exercises because, I don't want to give those away or spoil their impact. So that's, we'll just leave it hanging there. And then in this class, we also strive, this is Intuition 6, so we strive to begin pulling some of the pieces that we've learned so far into a working understanding of life and the nature of reality, because it's a lot different than what most of us grew up thinking or believing. So you got to start at some point pulling all those pieces together. Okay, so if you have taken the prerequisites for Intuition 6, then come join us and really delve into multidimensional existence, UFOs, and ETs, and how other dimensions are open and waiting for you to explore them. So you can sign up at my website, www.pennykelly.com, PENNYKELLY, no extra E's. And look for the link also in the description box below here, and join our global community. People are always looking for like-minded people who are awake, aware, and working to expand their options by expanding their consciousness. And this is where it's at. Okay, hope to see you in class.